This video is about the Maryland State Employer Withholding Deposit Account of Samh R. Labib LLC. This is the third video in this series about this topic. Today, I believe I've finally straightened it all out. In order for me to explain what I've discovered and what I've done, I'm going to show a bunch of documents. Here is the first document. Let me start off with this part because this is where I was brainstorming it. I went and I Googled. I wanted to answer this question. The question which someone else asked is, I need to close my employer withholding tax account. How can I do this? The reason that this is such a profound question is because with each agency, there's a different way of informing them of my intention to not be filing withholdings anymore, and the fact that I don't have employees anymore. So in particular, I wanted to know for the state of Maryland, what do I need to do? Okay, so I had concluded that what my Google search told me is that the answer to how do I close this account is to call this number, okay? But before I went ahead to call that number for the state of Maryland, the Maryland taxes, I wanted to clarify a few things with paychecks. And that brings us to this page, this is my contact at Paychecks, and I intended to conclude that I will have to call Maryland either today or November 17th, depending on what's going on with Paychecks and what Maryland's tolerance for confusion is, because there could be some confusion if I call them right now today. Today is, let's see, we're in October. Today's October 21st, 2014. Okay. Of course, in January of 2015 is when the state of Maryland is going to get my final reconciliation or whatever, my annual filing for the withholdings. So one of the things I wanted to know is, do I need to wait until I've finished all the filings, including that last one, the annual one with Maryland, before I tell them that I want to close my account? And I'll just, give you a sneak peek of the future there. Yes, it turns out that it's okay to inform Maryland that I am closing my withholding account right now, but I'm still going to be filing the final filing for the annual one in January of 2015. I don't have to wait on that. I can go ahead and inform them that I want to close it right now. Okay, so what were the questions that I asked Paychecks, and what's the answers to them? Did they mark my last return as final? First of all, they don't do returns during the year. All they do is an electronic payment once a month of my withholdings towards Maryland. So there's no paper form for that. That's why when I go and look at reports, whether it's monthly or quarterly reports, they don't have any document report that I can look at for the state withholdings, okay? So the question, did they mark my last return as final? No, because they don't even do the MW 506. I'm not talking about the 506 FR, that's something else. But the MW 506 is the form that you would use if you were making deposits during the year. Okay, they don't do those, so of course they couldn't have marked it final. However, they did inform me that the annual filing, which will happen in January of 2015, will be marked final. Okay? Now, the question is, where are my Maryland returns? Well, obviously, since they don't have a paper trail for those monthly electronic deposits, there aren't any. However, Paychex does have my annual returns, and I will need to get a PDF copy of that from Paychex over their website, hopefully in January of 2015, once they prepare it for me. Okay, so did I end up calling Maryland? Yes, I called them. I called this number, 410-260-7980. I called it. And what did they tell me? They told me two things. One is that I can go ahead and inform them right now that I'm closing that withholding account. I don't need to wait until the annual filing is submitted to them, okay? I can close the account right now, and then still, after my account is closed, turn in my annual filing in January of next year. Okay, so what's the other thing? The other thing is they told me how to close it. Simply telling them over the phone I want to close it after calling this number is not good enough. They want me to turn in this. It's called an MW 506FR, which stands for Final Return. Okay, so I went and downloaded that form and I printed it. I filled it out and I sent it to them. Now, the most difficult part was this one, date if permanently discontinued. I filled that out. I didn't know whether I should or not because my company is not discontinued, so that's kind of inaccurate. However, I chose to interpret it as meaning that I'm going to permanently discontinue having employees until I, in the future maybe realize I do need employees. And then I guess, so I don't know if you call that permanent or not. Anyways, so the date that I put in here was 07/04/2014. By the way, the filled out MW506FR is in the folder in the filing cabinet for the folder for state taxes. Okay, so you will see the documents that I have right here. I put them over there in that folder. Okay, and then I carefully filled it out and mailed it to this address. Now, it would be a good idea for me to go like in December and to call the number again, this phone number. In December, I should go call this phone number and ask them if they received that letter, if they received the MW 506FR, which I mailed to them today, which is October 21st. And then, the next thing I need to do for the state in terms of withholding is turn in that annual filing, which I will get from Paychex sometime in January of 2015. By the way, I also do need to turn in some W-2s to Maryland. They will need a copy of the W-2s with, the annual filing. I should probably put them in the same letter and mail them together. I have instructions in eWallet about how to do that. I've done it in the past. Okay, as far as my brain, I can't remember everything right now, but as far as I can tell, those are the two things which I need to turn in for Maryland in January. And these are my obligations for the transition of my company.